I've held off making this video for a long time because I know that anytime I would have touched this topic, people would have called me out in the comments. People would have said, oh, but Podkolzin is better. And that's okay. You can go out there, say your opinions. That's what the comment section is for, right? I won't hate if you say anything that contradicts my own opinion. That's the value of having opinions, right? But today we're talking about Cole Caufield because the other day, after the Wisconsin Badgers were eliminated in the Big Ten Finals, we had ourselves the awards, which were handed out to players in the NCAA, and as a result, Cole Caufield was named the Player of the Year, which is not, that big of a surprise. The guy was leading the entire NCAA in points and goals and points per game. Absolute madness over there what Cole Caufield was able to do, but I wanted to focus more on a different aspect of Cole Caufield because when it comes to this player, just how good he has been and just how overall dominating he has been in general, it's putting me in a position where now it's easier and easier to take a look at what happened at the 2019 NHL Entry Draft and say that he was kind of drafted a little bit too late. And that's such a hot take right there. Why would you say that? Cole Caufield drafted too late? What are you, locked up in Arkham Asylum or something? You gotta be nuts to think that. Okay, let's kind of think about it a little bit here. So Cole Caufield in the recent NCAA season for the Wisconsin Badgers, a team that a lot of people said, by the way, got worse with the departures of K'Andre Miller, with the departures of Alex Turcotte and all the seniors they had over there. He had 49 points in 30 games played, 28 goals. Oh man, he's just under a goal a game. Cole Caufield was able to do all this stuff on a team that people saw was inferior, and as a result, Tony Granato, coaching the squad in a little bit of a different way than he did last season, actually got the best out of his guys. They finished in the finals, they lost, unfortunately, but he was still good enough to be named the Coach of the Year in the Big Ten. We also had some very good quotes talking about Tony Granato, his own perspective on Cole Caufield and what exactly he feels about this player. Here's an interview he did on 98.5 Montreal FM, and I'll leave a link in the description over to the article so you can go ahead, listen to it, and read it as well. It is in French, but I translated it to English via the Google machine because I cannot read French at a good level. Take a look at this. Our reporter Jeremy Filosa spoke to ex-NHL player Tony Granato, who is the coach of the Badgers. Granato says that the development of Caufield this year was doubly impressive. I don't know what that means, translated from French into English, but hey, who cares, we'll leave it like this. Because he had already had a good first year, which had opened the door to a lot of expectations. Here's the quote. Everyone knows that Caufield can score goals, but his involvement went way beyond that. He's been a leader for our team. I think that's how you evolve as a player, when you make the people around you better and get them to play well. And he's been doing that from day one of the season, so I'm really happy with the season he has had and how he has done it. He made the coach's job easy. According to Granato, the question now is not whether he will play in Montreal, but when. Yes, there will be an adjustment to be made when Caufield gets to the pro level. He has already proven that he can take on this kind of challenge, and he makes me believe that he will be ready to take the leap very soon. There are players who come out here in the NCAA and need to go through the minors, quote-unquote. But in my opinion, I would like to see him with the Habs as soon as he signs his contract. In fact, the only reason I even know this is because there was a post onto the Habs subreddit earlier yesterday. Take a look at the title right here. Granato, Caufield's coach in Wisconsin and a great player in his day, because remember, Granato was an NHL player before. He says that Caufield is NHL ready in all ways. Handling pressure, two-way game, physically, leadership, scoring ability, and the ability to find himself in the right spot at the right time. He is compared to Cam Atkinson and Alex DeBrincat by Granato, 25 to 35 goals a year, and he also says he thinks that Caufield will score more goals than those two, and he will have an impact right away. And you know what? That's everything that I've been seeing with Caufield. Watching the World Juniors, watching some of the Badgers game tape, he has really improved everywhere. All three zones. Neutral zone, he's good at back-checking. He's good at opening space for himself and his teammates. He's good at finding open ice for his squad to force into the offensive zone. In the defensive zone, the guy's actually going out there and he's putting in a ton of effort. When you have players that are normally the top goal scorers, the top point producers, sometimes you have the lazy ones that just kind of say, okay, give me the puck, I'll score, and then you can do everything else. Caufield, absolutely not. He's not like that. He is the opposite. He is a great player everywhere on the ice. And the fact is, even though he is still 5'7", 5'8"-ish, he has displayed all these qualities that have allowed him to become the best player in the NCAA, which is why I think he'll win the Hobey Baker, but the fan vote says otherwise. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Which is why the main question of this video is, was Cole Caufield taken too late? 15th overall at the 2019 NHL Entry Draft by the Canadiens, taken after guys like Cam York, who is admittedly one of the best defensemen in the NCAA. He was given the Big Ten Defenseman of the Year award. You also have guys up here, Spencer Knight, another NTDP teammate, he's been doing really well. Boldy, another NTDP teammate, he's been doing really well. Victor Soderstrom, who admittedly is pretty alright. Podkolzin, Zegras, Broberg, Cozens, Seider, Turcotte, Byram, Dach. The thing with Cole Caufield is, and I said this back, like, when the draft happened, I seriously have a video about this on the channel here. I want you to take out your smartphone. If you're watching this video on your smartphone, great. Hold it in your hands right there and frame yourselves just how long it is. My smartphone is an iPhone, and it's about 3.5 inches long. The thing is, with Cole Caufield, if he was just the size of my cell phone taller, you add these 3.5 inches to 5'7" Cole Caufield, you make him 5'10". What if he's 5'10" on draft day? What if? What if instead of having a 5'7" goal per game, Alexander Ovechkin U18 record tying player in Caufield? What if instead of having a 5'7" version of that guy, you have a 5'10" version of that guy? Round up because my cell phone's 3.5 inches. 5'11". What if he's 5'11" on draft day? Does he still go 15th overall? Probably not, right? Let's take a look at the draft projections over here. Going over to what the scouts and the analysts said about Cole Caufield on draft day. He was ranked 9th by ISS, 12th by Future Considerations, 13th by McKeen's, 9th by TSN and Bob McKenzie, and 8th by NHL Central Scouting for North American skaters. He went 15th. And I remember I think it was Craig Button. Somebody, a few people actually, talking about how Cole Caufield should have been, at the very least, a consideration at a slot as high as 5 for the LA Kings. Now, they took Turcotte, which is not a bad pick in its own right, but you can still see athletic articles back from 2019 talking about how Caufield should be the Kings guy. It's gotten that crazy because if anybody taller had these same sets of numbers back then and they were able to find the net as well as Caufield did, or snipe it as well as Caufield did, or play all zones as well as Caufield is doing now, that player would be taken so much higher than 15th. And I get it, oh, you can't say now, Lego, because he developed his two-way game recently. Well, that's the thing. Caufield, as defined by Craig Button, should not be compared with the other small goal scorers like Alex DeBrincat and all that. He should be compared with the great goal scorers of NHL history, because the way this guy is able to play displays a level of talent that exists only amongst those top guys. I remember it was on Chris Faber's Canucks Conversation podcast back in 2019, I believe it was an interview with Craig Button, disregarding the height. The guy is still out there tying Ovechkin's U18 goal record and breaking the NTDP record for goals in total, beating out Patrick Kane and Austin Matthews. Nobody's business over there for Cole Caufield, and now in the NCAA, he's just under a goal a game, and Tony Granato is saying, yeah, he's NHL ready. He is good enough for that role. So tell me, is it really 15th overall caliber what we have here in Cole Caufield? I don't really know. I mean, he was considered a steal by some people back in the day. 2019 was 2 years ago. He was considered by some people as a steal even as early as back then, but still, the rhetoric around the player was, darn, it's so cool that he got drafted 15th, because Alex DeBrincat, for example, was drafted in the second round when he was taken in 2016. If he was just a little bit taller, and he was a little bit faster too, he did have his own problems in his own right, Alex DeBrincat did, he probably would have been taken somewhere in the first round. He reached 40 goals in the NHL a few years ago. So, for me, talking about Cole Caufield, and I'm seeing these other teams, LA is out here, Detroit, Buffalo, Edmonton. Sure, you guys are happy with your players. I get that. Canucks fans are so happy with Podkolzin. But if you asked me, would I take Podkolzin or Caufield, I would still say Caufield, and I hate that I said that, because I know so many people love Podkolzin, and I love Podkolzin too. It's just that they're different players, man. I guess I can sum everything up with my own sentiment towards the Podkolzin-Caufield thing by saying I would rather win every hockey game 10-5 instead of 3-2 or 2-1, for example. That's kind of what I see, but I know a lot of people disagree with that. So if you do, then feel free to tell me in the comments below why. Again, opinions are opinions, but yeah, in my opinion, Caufield, 15th overall, what a joke. Should have been taken a lot earlier. Talk to me in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. So, Trolls 99, and bye.